Hello, fuckos, and welcome to this episode 67 of the Chris Hunter Comedy Podcast with me, Chris Hunter. Hello, how are you doing? Are you well? I hope you are. Have you had a nice couple of weeks? That's right, folks, I have missed a couple of episodes, and I can only apologise from the deepest, darkest depths of my cold, dead black heart. A couple of things really. The first week I missed because I straight up forgot to do it. I can only apologise for that. And the second week, I was busy. What was I busy doing? I hear you say from the crowds. I was busy shaving my head. That is right, folks. Anybody who knows me knows that I have a clinging shower curtain of long hair at the back of my head because all the top's gone. Who are we kidding? It was gone. So I thought, you know what? It was so goddamn hot last Tuesday. That was the final straw that broke this tubby camel's back. And I thought, sod it. This shit ends now. So I shaved the bugger off. It is now gone. It is gone for good. This is me now, and I quite like it. I didn't realise until after shaving off all my hair, I really didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I always thought I was embracing the hair. Like, you know, it's like, you know, screw you guys. I'm not just going to shave it off. I'm fine with it. I think it looks alright. And then I realised, as soon as I'd shaved it off, I realised I'd been carrying this burden around me the whole time. This thing that separates me from everybody else, and not in a good way. It just makes me stand out, and not in a good way. So it's gone. That's it. Finito incantatum. That shit is off my head, and I couldn't feel better about it. And which is nice. It's nice to feel good for once in your goddamn life. But as you can imagine, that took a while on Tuesday. And then, so again, missed the podcast. And I've been so busy. Oh, so busy. I've been looking forward to chatting to you folks, though. I like you guys. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. I really do. I've missed you all. I hope you all survive in this bloody heatwave that we've had. Holy shite. It's been hot. It's been real hot. I'm quite hot right now, actually. Let me turn my fan on. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's the good stuff. Oh, that's the good stuff right there. Hopefully it's not blowing on the microphone. I don't think it is, but if it is, let me know and I'll turn it off for next week. It's been a very interesting couple of weeks around the world. As usual, on last Saturday, actually not as usual, both Saturdays, I went to Dark Side of the Spoon for breakfast. That's right, folks. Breakfast. So that means I didn't have the burger of the week. Instead, I had the Chuck Norris. Sorry, correct me. The Chick Norris, which was chicken and waffles. Oh my God. I knew that they had it in America, but I've never ever had chicken and waffles before. And it was goddamn tasty. It was, it's a hell of a breakfast. It's fried chicken on a waffle with some sriracha mayo and some, I think it's maple syrup and some bacon. That is a plethora of mixed flavours, but my God does it work well. And weirdly, having some sort of like hot mayo, because it's sriracha mayo, it's not super spicy, but it's a lot spicier than not having it. Having that on a breakfast is a really interesting way to wake you up, and I think it works a treat. It really does, and it was delicious. So I had that the first week, and then the second week, I was actually going to my first stag do, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I was just trying to get something heavy in my stomach, just in case I did drink. So I got myself the breakfast burrito, which right now I can't remember what it's actually called on the menu, but it's delicious. So folks, go to Dark Side of the Spoon, go to Cafe at the End of the Universe, support both of them, buy all their foods, and nom all of their foods. Cafe at the End of the Universe actually have new videos on their YouTube channel now, actually. Not sponsored, by the way, folks. Not a sponsorship. Just letting you know because I love the guys. They're awesome. They have got new videos on. They're doing a review of the new Burger King halloumi burger, apparently. And they have a video of somebody trying to do their Man vs. Food challenge, the 42. Which, I think it's called the 42, or the number 42. Either way, it's 42 items, and it's a shit ton of stuff. And apparently some people have actually managed it, but I don't know how. I looked at it once. I looked at a picture, and I was like, you know what? I could do that. I eat a burger every week. I've trained for this shit. But no. I could not do that. I probably could if I shared it with like 3 people. But I'm not gonna, because you're not allowed to share. You're not even allowed to drink as far as I know until you're finished. And that sucks. So, yeah, good luck to anybody who tries it. If you do try it, let me know. Film it. Send it to me. I want to see that shit. But if you throw up, do not send me that, or I will hate you forever. Just so you know. Speaking of hating things forever, I went to 2 Cineworld Unlimited screenings in the past 2 weeks. It has been a busy time for Cineworld with the Unlimited screenings. They had one the other week. It was called Blinded by the Light, which actually premiered today in London because the Unlimited screenings, they're on before the film is actually out. which is really cool. It's like a nice little perk for people with unlimited cards, and I'm one of them. But the film, unfortunately, was a sack of shite. It was just not good. It was a good idea, but it was really, really badly executed. It felt cheesy as hell, and it felt like, I don't know. The part of it was asynchronistic for me, because it was set in the 80s. But then there's parts with like projecting lyrics onto the wall over somebody, and they're just obviously using like a digital projector, which I know is a really picky thing, but that was one of the things that really, really bugged me. But basically, it's a film about a lad who he feels like separated from the community because he's Asian, and it's a time when racism was quite high in this part of England in the 80s. And he discovers the music of what's his name? I refuse to call him the boss. Bruce Springsteen. He discovers the music of Bruce Springsteen, and it becomes like his guide through life, which is fair enough. It's a cool concept. But my main problem is that I really don't like Bruce Springsteen to start with. And this kid would just start saying the lyrics like the real sentences, or it just start singing for no reason. And I don't mean like a musical number. I mean just singing. And it was just so cringeworthy and soul-crushingly at times that I just couldn't enjoy it. Now, some people are saying it's the best film they've ever seen. Some people are saying it's so heartwarming. It's a proper... What is it they call it now? It's a... I can't remember the words, the terminology, but you know what I mean. They're saying it's a right uplifting film. But to me, it was not. It brought me down, and I wanted to leave. I didn't leave, but I wanted to. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'd say, if it's up to me, give Blinded by the Light a miss. But hey, if you like Springsteen, if you like pretty shitty British films, go watch it. It's awesome. But speaking of pretty shitty situations, you guys might have seen, I'm bringing it down here a second, okay? It's not all comedy. There's a couple of doozies in here today, so I can only apologise. Here's the first doozy. I want to say a massive... I want to send my heartfelt condolences to the people at Kyoto Animation, for the arson attack that happened at their studio in Kyoto. It's fucking ridiculous. For those of you who don't know what happened, Kyoto Animation is obviously an anime studio. They do quite a few famous animes there. And a guy burst in with gas canisters and started pouring them on everybody and everything and lit it and left. Now, doing this, it set a fire that was going for, I think, 12 hours. It killed, I think it was 33 people. It killed a shit ton of people. It hurt a lot of people. He's in custody. Apparently he was claiming that they plagiarized him. They stole a novel or something. And first of all, no, they didn't, mate. But even if they did, which they didn't, but even if they did, that is not how you react. Folks out there, if you're a creative, right? Like, for example, you guys might know I'm a 3D artist, right? If I saw somebody stealing some of my artwork, the absolute last thought in my head would be, I know, let's go burn down his place of work. No, it would be, let's send him an email, let's kick off at him, and then get his work taken down. That's the way you're supposed to do things. You're supposed to do things in a civil manner because we're humans, we're not fucking animals. So people who react like that really severely piss me off. The fact that these people were just being creative, just trying to bring some kind of joy to some arsehole's life, and then this absolute, pardon my language, absolute cunt comes in and ruins lives of a lot of people. It's just fucking out of hand, and it really, really pissed me off. Which, you know, a lot of things do piss me off, but this is one that really, it just got to me. So, yes, my heartfelt condolences to the people of Kyoto Animation. That is the first of tonight's two slightly sad moments, but let's try and push through to the happy. And this actually isn't happy, this is gross. I was in the toilet cubicle the other day in work, and yes, folks, I am going straight to a toilet cubicle from that story. This is how my this is how my connecting statements work. They're not always good, they're almost certainly never good, but alas, they exist, which is all you need them for. So yeah, like I said, I was in shitty, and there was somebody who came in, and I could hear them. They came in, they realised cubicles are full, but right, here's how I imagine it played out in their heads. La 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 la, I'll go into the bathroom and blow my nose. Open the door, uh-oh, the cubicles are full. Oh well, I'd just blow my nose on my hands and then turn around and wash them in the sink. Are you shitting me? No, I'm not. That is what I heard. That is what happened. That was gross. It was one of the grossest sounds I've ever heard. I don't even know how you'd recreate it without actually doing it. The hell was that? Kids screaming outside. Yeah, and I don't get it. I don't get why anybody could do that. This is like those people that you see walking along, and they usually have these alpha male pricks walking along, and they'll cover one nostril with a finger and just blow the snot out on the floor with the other one. And I'm always thinking, you disgusting prick. How can you do that in public? How can you do that at all? I mean, surely you're covered in snot. That's horrible. Talking about it makes me feel slightly sick. I'ma move on. Things that should make you feel slightly sick. Apparently, right, I was speaking to my brother the other day, and he said that outside his apartment, for some reason, not like directly outside his apartment, outside the building, for some reason, there was a jar of pickled onions and a fork, or something like that, a spoon maybe. I can't remember what he said now. But either way, this jar of pickled onions has been there for quite a while. And you know what the worst thing is, right? It's bad enough that there's just a jar of pickled onions there. That's kind of creepy in itself. It's kind of ominous, like, are you going to replace the onions with the eyeballs? What's the story? Morning glory? No. The creepiest and grossest part of this is that apparently the quantity of onions within said jar that are indeed pickling has been reducing over time. That's right, folks. Somebody is going in and they're dipping in, going, I like pickled onions, me. I want a pickled onion. I don't care if they're mine. I don't care how long they've been there for. I want a fucking onion. And that's what they've been doing. They've been reaching in, grabbing themselves an onion, and off they go. And I can't begin to comprehend how that is an acceptable form of human behaviour. Am I missing something, folks? Do I see, like, I feel kind of dead inside a little bit when I see that people do stuff like that. The previous things I've mentioned, it's like, how does a human brain work that way? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But speaking of Jack, this is the second slightly downer topic, but don't worry, it has a happy ending, kind of. Unfortunately, now everyone's fine, but unfortunately my brother Jack and his girlfriend Lucy were in a car crash, and it absolutely terrified me. But luckily everybody is okay. They're very lucky to have got away with minor injuries. The car is indeed a write-off though. Apparently they were going through a T-junction in Sheffield, and they got T-boned by somebody who ran a red light, who wasn't even apparently looking and didn't slow down remotely. So we're thinking he's probably on his phone or something stupid like that, and ploughed into their wheel arch, luckily, because if they'd have hit the door, this would be a very different situation. I definitely wouldn't be doing a podcast. But luckily it hit the wheel arch. Everyone was okay. Both cars were written off. Everyone went to hospital just to get checked up and stuff. But yeah, it was a really worrying time. And especially since Jack had some bruising on his chest. And this happened on Friday, I think it was. Yeah, he had bruising on his chest. And he was supposed to be flying out to Japan yesterday, which luckily he managed to. But the doctors said that if the bruising was too bad, he couldn't fly long haul. Because as you guys know, bruising is blood gathering and healing the body from within. But if you fly long haul when you're heavily bruised, you risk getting blood clots, and you do not want them. They are bad. So luckily his bruising ended up being not as bad as it could have been. So he was indeed allowed to travel. So he is now in Japan having an amazing time as far as I know. Which I'll get back to Japan in a second, but I wanted to just have a little chat with the people at Northwest NHP, which I think is the neighbourhood police or something like that. These are the people, Sheffield Central and Northwest NHP on Twitter. They shared a photograph of the car that Jack and Lucy were in, and it was in the middle reservation. You know, it ran into, you could see it basically embedded into a fence. And it really pissed me off what they tweeted about this. And Jack was also infuriated to the point where he replied. And when you reply with a blue tick on Twitter, people start shitting themselves. So I will tell you what they said, because they've since deleted the tweet. So I have a copy myself. They said, Penistone Road out of City is currently down to one lane due to whatever happened here an unfortunate coming together of a railing and a crumple zone that probably won't buff out. Like, how unprofessional and dickheadish is that they would put something so jovial, so nonsensical, so bollocks. They don't know what happened. They just think that for some reason some doofus ran into the middle fence, which is not remotely what happened. They were completely in the right. They got sideswiped by some knobhead who wasn't looking and deserves to have bad things done to them. And somehow this tweet is like, you know, oh, it was their fault. They weren't looking or whatever. Must have hit a fence. Oops. Guess that won't buff out. Knobheads. That's what they are. They're absolute knobheads. But luckily, Jack replied to them. I replied to them. Charlie replied to them and also tagged in their boss, which is awesome. And they have since called him and apologised, which is good. And they put up a new tweet with a different angle photograph showing both cars totally written off and a very different situation indeed. So, you know what, folks, on Twitter, if you're going to post shit like that, do your goddamn research, okay? And I know I'm having a bit of a ranty one today. This is how it works sometimes. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm bad. Today, I'm a bit of both. So, yes, if you're going to post shit like that online, do your research. Check it's not what you think it is first, okay? It's just dickheadish to post stuff like that, especially if you're an official body of the law. It's reprehensible is what it is. It's really fucking annoying that you guys are the people we're supposed to trust in these situations, and now you come back and take the piss. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, like I said, they have since apologised, so I'm gonna let it go, but I wanted it out there recorded so that I know in the future that I was pissed off at them once, okay? Because that's what this podcast is. It's a verbal diary. People might not listen to it all the time, but that's fine. It's there to listen to at some point if people want to listen to it. That's how it works. So yeah, like I said, luckily Jack and Lucy are okay. They are on the mend. Jack is currently in Japan and he is having a good time so far as I know. He's only landed recently, like 6 hours ago. Not 6 hours ago, like yesterday, his time. And he sent me a message saying, "Well, I like ramen." So I replied saying, "Yes, Jack, you grew up on noodles. Our whole life, we've always loved noodles." He doesn't know they're ramen noodles, but they're instant ramen. But you know, I said to him, "You're going to love them because these are the original noodles. These are the OG. These are the source of where noodles come from." And oh my God, apparently he really liked them, which is good. And he got himself some strawberry pocky, which I know he was excited about. So I'm curious to see what he's going to do. I know he's got one day off for sightseeing, but I think for the rest of it, he's going to be doing tournaments. And I really hope he's doing well. I hope the team are staying hydrated because at the moment, Japan has just started a heat wave, which is bloody typical timing for Jack. The rainy season finishes the day before he arrives, and now it's the hot season. So, unfortunately, it is the worst time to be in Japan. But that is the time that he is there. So enjoy it whilst you can, matey. Enjoy and just stay hydrated. Drink all that Pocari Sweat you can do. Speaking of staying hydrated, I mentioned before that I went to my very first ever stag do on Saturday. Now, this was a good time. I was actually dreading it for a while. I know it sounds stupid, but I don't really drink. And I really don't do like lads situations. And I thought that it would be a rambunctious lad situation around Manchester City Centre, and I have to be worried about maybe getting stabbed or robbed or whatever. I don't do clubs. I don't do pubs. You know, I don't do Manchester Centre. I don't do any of that stuff. So I was a little bit scared, I'm not going to lie. A little bit scared, kind of dreading it. But it ended up being a cracking night. We had a good time. We went to, where did we go? We went to Junkyard Golf, which is like a really weird but cool mini golf place. We went to a place called the Gasworks, whose staffs, by the way, are pricks. If you know anybody who works at the Gasworks, tell them the knobheads. They have a shuffleboard thing, which is kind of cool. But it got ruined by the bloody security shouting at us for cheering and then staring at us like we were going to start some trouble. How about get bent, mister? We're playing a game. Don't put a competitive game in your pub if you don't want people cheering. And anyway, after that, we went to, where did we go? Flight Club. There's a place called Flight Club in Manchester, which is really, really cool. Basically, it's like it's a darts bar where you hire like a booth and it's got a dartboard and a screen and it's got games that you play with the dartboard. So you throw the dart and somehow it reads where it landed on the board perfectly. And it's a normal dartboard. It's not one of those electric ones with the spots in it and stuff. So yeah, it's a proper dartboard and it works a treat. And the whole time we were there, Colin, one of the lads that was there, was giving it large the whole time. And he's a really sore winner. So even when he won, he was being, shouty at us. He's a funny bugger though. And there was one part where he was giving me stick like, "Oh, come on, you're not going to do this." So I just looked at him. I stared him right in the eyes. I turned, I threw my dart. And where did it land? Bloody bully. Exactly what I needed in the moment to win that round. So it landed in the bullseye. So I turned around and I saluted him. And that was the end of that situation. His face was a bloody picture. And luckily, when you go there, it records action replays of stuff like this. So you can see the video of this happening. I've got it somewhere. I've got to try and find it. Maybe I can put it on my Twitter or something. I don't know. Remind me if I haven't in like a week, okay? But yeah, that was a great time. And then we went to a little pub. Beermoth, I think it was called. And then we went to karaoke for almost 3 hours, which is probably why, I don't know if you guys can still hear it. My throat is still a bit buggered. It's been a few days now, but it was gone. My voice was gone. Completely and utterly gone. Which didn't really help because the day after I was going to MCM Expo all day. So I was just drinking the drinks, eating the cupcakes, whatever I could do to help this little delicate throat of mine try and get through the day once more. And it was a good time. I had a much better time than I thought I would do. So I want to say, Jamie, congratulations on the stag do. Good luck with the wedding, and I look forward to seeing everybody on the day. Also, what did I do? What was it? The other day on Thursday, I believe it was, we had the hottest day on record, period. The hottest day on record. And that was the day I was going to Chester Zoo for a Pokemon event. Now, they have this Pokemon, they have this Pokemon event every now and again, where they'll open the park for 2 hours after it's closed to the public normally. And people go around and they collect Pokemon and have a jolly old time. And it was really nice. Me, Charlie, and her mum went around. But it was so hot that we went home after an hour. Because to be fair, a lot of the park was closed and we'd done everything that was open. So it was time to go anyway. But that was a nice time. It was nice to have a little wander. That was the first day after I shaved my head, I think. Or the second day. So it was weird to be outside still. I'm still getting used to it, but I like it much better now. And then finally, to finish off what I've been up to, last night watched another secret screening. This one was called Crawl. It was actually a pretty good film, I thought. It was about a family in what's the place called? Florida. A family in Florida, and there is a massive hurricane coming, and it's going to flood the place and stuff, and their house is overrun with gators, and they have to try and survive. It was a pretty cool film. It was in kind of the style of like a Saw kind of film. Like if you mix Saw with Jaws. Oh, I've never seen Jaws, so I'm just assuming that because it's a water-based predator. But yeah, anyway, I'm waffling shite now, so I'm going to go, guys. But if you like what you hear on this podcast, do me a favour, please. Tell your friends about it. Share it with the world. I don't mind. It's free. It's not going to cost you nothing to do. And if you've got any questions for me or you want to hurl abuse at me, you can find me on social media. I'm Chris Hunter Comedy on everything except for Twitter, where I'm at ChrisHunterCom, which is short for comedy. So, thanks a lot for listening, folks. If you like it, do me a favour, hit the subscribe, share the podcast, and give it a rating if you could on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever you use to listen to it. I'm going to actually finish now, so thanks a lot for listening, folks. I'll see all you beautiful barstools next week. Bye-bye now.